How you doing, everybody? Nick DiVirgilio here, and today's video is on this Gretsch Marquee drum kit. If you've watched any of my drum videos before, you've probably heard me say, well, many times over, that sitting behind certain drum kits just gives you a certain vibe and feel and inspiration. And Gretsch drum kits definitely do that thing. If you walk into a club or a concert hall and you see a Gretsch drum kit on stage, you go, oh man, the drummer plays Gretsch. There's just a thing about this brand. They've been around since the 1800s, and with their banjos and mandolins and other instruments, when they brought on drums, they really created an iconic American instrument. Let's get into the details right now. This is a 5-piece shell pack, so you get a matching snare, which is great. It comes in this gorgeous gloss black finish. A black drum kit like this, shiny black, goes with anything. Always looks good on stage. It's very classy looking. You can put other snare drums with the black drums and it'll always match, so you can never go wrong with a nice glossy black drum kit. The sizes of these drums are like this. You get a 7x10 inch rack tom and an 8x12 inch rack tom, and what's very cool about the rack toms, which is classic Gretsch, is that they are 5-lug design. And as far as I know, Gretsch is the only company that does that. You get a 14x16 inch floor tom, 18x22 inch kick drum, and the snare, the matching snare, is a 5.5x14. The drums come with 30-degree bearing edges, which is a great classic Gretsch thing. So let's get into the sound of the toms right now. Snare wires off. Here we go. Very punchy, very musical, and great tone interval between the rack tom all the way down to the floor tom. Now, I forgot to mention earlier in the video that these drums are all maple. 2 kinds of maple, in fact. You get North American hard rock maple and then a softer species of maple that they couple together. And so you really get the maple punch, but great definition and sustain and all of those things. So now let me turn the snare wires back on for you and do the toms one more time. Very musical. Now let's do the kick drum, again with the snare wires off first. Nice, big, and beefy tone, and I have a very small amount of dampening inside the drums, so touching a little bit of the batter head and a tiny bit of the resonant head. Now snare wires back on, and the same thing for you. Now let's get into the snare drum. First I'm going to play the snare wires off because it has a nice tone to it, and you can really play some great beats with the snare wires off on the snare and the rest of the drum kits. Let's do that first. Five and a half in a snare drum is a cool size because it's, when you have the snare wires off, you get a nice kind of higher pitch, a good crack. And so when you want to play those beats without the snare wires buzzing, it's a good size of drum for that kind of thing. But now let me put the snare wires back on and play you the snare. It's got good sensitivity from the edge of the drum all the way to the center and a really nice crack. Very cool. Let's get into all the details of the hardware right now. The first thing I want to show you with the hardware is the lugs. classic looking Gretsch lugs. Always classy, looks great all the time. 2.3 millimeter triple-flanged hoops go really well with the 30-degree bearing edge, and these maple shells give you great resonant, kind of fat tone. The suspension system on these drums is very nice and very easy to use. They call it their GTS suspension system, and if you can tell, it connects to the top of the lug right here and to the bottom as well. So the drum resonates and hangs very freely, and again, it's very easy to use. Both rack toms come with that same system. As you can tell, the rack toms are mounted on the cymbal stand, so you do get the two cymbal mounts. The floor tom leg mounts and the floor tom legs themselves are very tall and very sturdy. The floor tom really just stays in place and resonates as well, so some nice features there. Get some nice rubber-lined claw hooks on your hoops. These are nice glossy black hoops too, so you want to take care of those, and the rubber-lined claw hooks help there for sure. And very easy to use and nice and sturdy spurs on the sides of the kick drum. The throw-off and strainer for the snare drum, very simple but very easy to use. A pullback style throw-off. Again, very simple to get the wires on and off. And then you adjust the snare wire tension right there at the same spot. Okay, now's a good time in the video to tell you about the rest of the gear that I have coupled with this beautiful drum kit. Let's start with the cymbals, all Zildjian today. For a crash cymbal here on my left is an 18-inch Rezo crash, and the ride is a 21-inch Rezo ride. Very nice wash and distinct cymbal sound. The crash on my right is an 18-inch Avidus, the new Avidus line of cymbals, so it's an 18-inch crash ride. And I have a set of Avidus 14-inch hats. All beautiful Zildjian cymbals. Definitely encourage you to check these out. The hardware, the cymbal stands, are all DW9000 series, and for the kick drum pedal today is the very cool Machine chain drive single pedal. The microphones on today's drum kit are this. Inside the kick drum is a Telefunken M82. And outside the kick drum on the floor is a Shure Beta 91. The two coupled together are giving you that kick drum sound. I also have a Shure SM57 on the snare drum, just in case I need to bump up the snare drum level a little bit. For the overheads are AKG 414s, and the room mic today is a Royer SF12 stereo ribbon mic. All the microphones are going into my Antelope Zen Studio, and then on into Pro Tools, and that's how you're hearing the drums. And my goal for all of these videos is to give you the most natural drum sound possible, not hyped, just like you were standing in the room listening to the drums. And there you have it, everybody. This is the Gretsch Marquee 5-piece shell pack, beautiful glossy black finish, great Gretsch sound, really high quality, and it comes in at a fantastic price. So if you want any more information about this Gretsch product or any other Gretsch product, just contact your Sweetwater sales engineer. Thanks a lot for watching.